Hello, welcome to Do It Yourself with Wayne. Today we're going to do a versus video. We've seen a lot of videos about these Kindling Crackers and also about the cone splitters. And so we bought one of these cone splitters. I did a video a little while back about a cone splitter. This is a different style. I'll put a link in the description below about the previous one that we did because it was a little bit different style. It's all one piece. This one comes with multiple different attachments that you put in the end of it for attaching to your drill or whatever. So we'll be testing this cone splitter, and I do like that this one came in this nice little plastic case. The other one I bought, it just came in a cardboard box. And then we're going to compare it with the Kindling Cracker because they're both intended for splitting your kindling. So we're going to compare both. We've got a variety of wood back here. I got some eastern red cedar. I got some maple, I got some red oak. I got some wood that I don't know what variety it is, but we're going to be talking about some of that. And then as far as tools, when I was starting this, I wanted to be able to show a good clean edge on some of our wood. I used my little electric chainsaw that I bought at Harbor Freight. We also did a video on that. We'll put a link in the description to that video. But I got to tell you, if I'm going to cut trees down, I don't want that chainsaw. Okay, I got a nice steel that I'll use if I'm cutting trees. But when you got a small something to do, these little electric chainsaws like that, they're just a ticket. I mean, they're really great for trimming up and doing small things. But if you're going to do some serious cutting trees, that's not the chainsaw for you. But it definitely has its place. I got my small axe. This is not a full-size axe. It's considered a camp axe. Some people call it a 3/4 axe. I got my hammer. I got my drill for the cone splitter, and always wear your gloves. Always have some kind of safety glasses. So that's the tools that we've got and the things that we're going to work with. So I think I'll start out with the cone splitter first. So I'm going to take it out and drop pieces on the floor. All right, set that over there. And the way these work, and I'll give you a close-up picture up in the corner of this, but these parts, they just screw into the end. And I don't know if you really need to tighten that down with a wrench or not, but it'll probably get tight as you use it. So let me set this over to the side. I'll put this in my drill. Get it in there, tighten it down good. Now in the previous video I did, and like I said, it was a different brand of cone splitter. Some people said I needed to put the handle on the side of my drill so it didn't jerk me around a lot because at the end of the video, my wrist and arm was sore the next day from this thing binding in wood and jerking me around. You can watch that in that video. But this is not really intended for really big pieces of wood. But that video will show you how that worked out. But we're going to use this mostly for the smaller pieces. We'll use some of the larger ones just to show you how it works. And so let's get started here. All right, I got my cone splitter installed in my drill. And I got a short piece of wood. Now, the shorter pieces are going to split easier. But I want to show you in the end, and I put a picture of this up in the corner. The center of it is still good and hard, and the outside is not. This has been cut a little over a year and it's starting to rot a little bit. So this may not split well, but we got other pieces that will, so we'll see how it goes. But put this kind of in the end. And there we go, kind of splits it. Did a fairly decent job. So let's do it again. See, the smaller, thinner pieces definitely works better. That works pretty good. If you put it in the end, I found that doesn't work as well. Well, there it didn't even want to dig in. Let's try it again. Now that's one of the problems that I've heard with this type of cone splitter. If you need to back up your drill, that piece just unthreads itself. So now I got to get a wrench to get that out. Now that's, like I said, that's one of the big complaints that I've heard about this style of cone splitter. Okay, I finally got the cone splitter backed out of this little piece of wood. I think part of the problem was I was going into a knot, which is really hard. Once I got it out, I went in the other end. It did split it, but it didn't do a particularly good job. But anytime you got a knot, it's going to be harder to split with something like that. So let's try another piece, and I forgot to put my gloves on, so let's do that now, just to be a little safer here. All right. Whoops. I think this is the same kind of wood, pretty sure it's the same kind of wood. So I'm going to try this one from the end, because it doesn't have the knots and stuff in it like the other did. Now see, I can't hold that. Okay, so let's see if we'll back it out this time. There we go. All right, change drill direction. Let's try to go in from the side. Okay, going into the side definitely works better than going into the end. You saw how I tried going into the end and it just bound up and didn't want to split. I went into the side and it did. So let's split it a couple more times here. And that works pretty good. So you can definitely split your kindling that way. All right, let's try another piece of wood here. Now this piece is a piece of white oak. The edge out here is starting to rot, but the center is hard. But I'm still going to see if we can split that. There's a couple little knots, but they're small. Let's see what happens. Well, it did split it, but like I said, if you look in the center, there's not that much really hardwood in there. This is oak, but the white part on the outside is pretty much rotten. So really your piece of wood's only, about as big around as a golf ball. Even though the outside is larger, the hard part is not. So that's that. All right, let's try the Kindling Cracker now. Okay, this is our Kindling Cracker. It came in this box. It's packaged very well. Had styrofoam or something around it. I like this. It's all metal. I guess it's cast iron construction. It seems to be very well made. I think if you use this much, it does have holes where you can mount it to a chopping block. I think that would be a good idea. Although we've not done that here, I think it would be a good idea. So anyway, let's see how this works. I'm going to start out with my hammer first. I really don't think this hammer is big enough. Unfortunately, my bigger hammer isn't with me, but I will be using my axe a little bit later just for the extra weight. But normally you would use a hammer, at least a 2-3 pound hammer, because it would be safer than using the backside of an axe. All right, let's pick up one of these we've already split. Let's start with this one, a half piece of wood, put it in here. That was definitely quicker than the cone splitter. Let's try it again. And that was even with the lightweight claw hammer. It's got a nice ring to it too. All right. Let's see. What do we want to split next? I don't really know what variety of tree this is, but this one, the outside isn't rotten. I mean, this was cut over a year ago as well, but it's still good and solid. So this will be harder. Maybe we'll go back and try one of these with the cone splitter too. But let's try this and see what happens. Nice. Let's do it a couple more times here. I really thought I'd need a heavier hammer. This little 16-ounce claw hammer is doing a pretty good job. I'm going to step back for a minute. Let's see. Here's another one, that same kind of wood, about the same length, about the same diameter. Let's try the cone splitter on it. Because like I said, it is more solid all the way through. Let's see, I'll try this end because that end's got a little bit of a knot. Let's see what happens here. Well, the cone splitter did split it, but if you noticed, I was struggling to hold the drill to go through this. With the Kindling Cracker, there's no struggle involved. I just put it in there and hit it. I definitely like this better. We're going to go ahead and split some more wood now and getting a whole pile of it here at my feet. One thing I wanted to try, I got some white oak over here. Now this is obviously a larger piece of wood. I cut the end so you can see it. Now here again, the center is good and solid, but the outside, the part that was still green when, or rich or live or whatever when we cut it, has started to get a little bit pithy, but it's a good hard center. And I don't think my hammer will drive this through there. That ain't gonna work because of the size of the piece of wood. Let me get my axe. And like I said, normally you wouldn't want to use an axe because here again you're incorporating something with a blade that adds a little danger. Use a heavier hammer if you got one. A 2 or 3 pound hammer would be great. This ain't gonna split too good. This is too much work. But it did split it. And there you go. As you can see in the center of that is some really good stuff. It'll be make some good kindling. I would use this for my small kindling. I use it from some larger pieces. I like the way this ring, particularly when I was splitting with this earlier, I had short pieces that fall out. These longer pieces will stay in here. I like that. They don't fall down on you so much. Hitting a knot now, it's not wanting to split. Just hit a little bit harder, it'll go through there. But yeah, I did hit a little bit of a knot that didn't want to go through. But I like this, it seems to work really well. Now let's go back again. I'm going to take this piece and the cone splitter just as a comparison. Jeez, I can't hold it. I can't split that with the cone splitter. I mean, my drill has the power, but I don't have the power or the strength to hold the drill. And of course it backed out again. So in the end, if you got pieces of wood like this, the Kindling Cracker definitely is far superior than the cone splitter. But now we're going to move on to some other stuff that the cone splitter may work well for. Okay, I want to tell you what just happened. You saw how this got stuck in that piece of oak that I was trying to split, and I couldn't split it because I couldn't hold the drill. After the drill backed out of this thing, we got our heavy-duty pliers and couldn't back this thing out. It was just in there so tight, I didn't have the strength myself to turn this thing and back it out. So what we did is we took that piece of wood, we stuck it in here, and we split it with the Kindling Cracker to get this out. That's the only way we could get it out. I mean, obviously there's other tools we could have used, but the Kindling Cracker split that piece of wood with this thing. I couldn't even get it out of it. So if your wood is any size, get you a Kindling Cracker. I know they're more expensive, but it's worth the extra money. All right, let's move on to some other stuff here. Put this back on the drill. And one thing I'll warn you about, these things, these ridges tend to be a little bit sharp. You saw me holding this as I run the drill into it. Just be aware that you can cut yourself on these ridges. Not necessarily the point, although the point could hurt you too, but these ridges can cut you. All right, I want to try something else. I don't know if this will fit in here or not. No, it's going to be too big. I wanted to split some of this dogwood. I mean this cedar. That ain't going to fit in there. Huh? Yeah, it's still got to go through there though. We got 2 of these. All right. Now this is Eastern Red Cedar. I cut that in so you can see what the grain looks like a little bit. I'll show a picture of that up in the corner. I think this one would be easier to split, so I'm going to try this one with the cone splitter and this one with the Kindling Cracker. I think this one will be a little bit harder because it's got a bigger knot here. I'll try to stay away from that. It's a little bit longer too, but I think I'll try the Kindling Cracker first and we'll see how that works. That was easier than I expected, to be honest with you. All right, let's see, I can leave that there. Let's try the cone splitter on the side of this. Let's see, I think that'd be about the easiest spot right there because I've got a couple knots here. I'm trying to go between them because that would be easier. That split it, worked well. It was a little bit slower than the Kindling Cracker. I mean, the Kindling Cracker is a little bit slower, but it got the job done. It seems to work well. And one thing I like to caution people that don't know about this Eastern Red Cedar. This is not cedar like you'd have on the West Coast. So we're here in in North Carolina. And the cedar that we have is called Eastern Red Cedar, and that's where you get the real pretty red color. This makes great kindling, but it's not good firewood. If you use this particularly in a fireplace, when it starts burning, it tends to pop. And if you're using it as a regular firewood, it'll pop and it'll blow hot ashes out into your room sometimes. I've seen that happen. So just be aware if you're using the Eastern Red Cedar that it has a tendency to do that. But it does make good kindling to get your fire started. Just just make sure you stay close, keep an eye on it. And if you got big pieces, split them up for kindling. Don't use them for firewood because the popping action can get quite dangerous. All right, so there we go. Let's see what else we got here. Let's try something like this on the Kindling Cracker. I know the cone splitter is not going to split this because of the length of it. It's just not going to work well. So let's try this. Now this is maple. It did just start to split a little bit, and I stopped. But I want to tell you, this is maple. It's really hard. It's been cut for over a year. But it's still real good solid wood. There's no pithy outside edges on it. It's just good solid wood. As you can see, that's just almost pure white. It's just really good wood. Makes good kindling as well. I'll try to avoid where this knot over here is at that I'm holding on to. Try to split another time or two. Yeah, the knots make it hard, but the Kindling Cracker definitely works better in my opinion. Now, one last thing I want to try, just to give the cone splitter, its due here, so to speak. I got some, if you got lumber like old 2x4s, I have found with the other video that I did, I should have gone close to the center. Holy mackerel, didn't expect that. Never mind that. Okay, I've seen enough myself. I'm going to finish up this video. A little cone splitter is still wedged in this little piece of 2x4 that it should have been very easy to split in my opinion. There's a couple little small knots in here, but nothing of any significance. And that's not easy. I mean, it's in there tight. There it is. Folks, I don't recommend this thing. This was $15, $16, it was less than $20. You know, so it is inexpensive, but you know, one of the selling points is safety. You're not using an axe to split wood, but yeah, the way this thing can bind in a piece of wood and your drill jerks you around, you can get hurt with that. So I'm not so sure the safety aspect is a reason to buy this thing. It does work on some smaller stuff, but I mean, that should not have been hard to split. I mean, it's a little piece of 2x4. As far as the Kindling Cracker, it was, I think I was about $110 with buying it and shipping and everything. It's a lot more expensive. It's built better. It works better. It's a lot safer. And I'll show you something here. Well, let's just split this piece of 2x4. And put it the same place that thing was trying to split. I didn't have any trouble. Let's do it again. I mean, it's just not hard. And this is a 16-ounce hammer. It's a lot easier to swing. It's a lot easier to handle than this drill. And it don't jerk you around when things bind up. I much prefer this thing. Now, one thing I'm going to try, this Eastern Red Cedar, that's a pretty big piece, but it was splitting pretty easy with my axe. I'm going to see if I can split this now. $16-ounce hammer ain't doing the job. It's going, but it's slow. All right, there's that beautiful red wood. Now, before I started this, as you can see, it's already split off a little bit because it was the piece I had was too big around to go in the ring of the cone splitter. If you're competent with an axe, here's another piece of that Eastern Red Cedar. I'm just going to take my axe. Okay. I like the cone splitter for safety. For speed, I like my axe, but there is the danger aspect. So that'll give you an example of different ways you can split wood. Got the cone splitter. Got the Kindling Cracker. And got my axe. The axe is the most dangerous, but the fastest. The cone splitter works in small pieces of wood, but if your drill's got any kind of power, and it's got to have some power to do the job, if that thing binds, it can jerk you around and hurt you. The Kindling Cracker is the most expensive of the three. Like I said, with tax and shipping and everything, I think I was about $110 for this thing, but it's the one I like the best. I feel like it's well worth what you pay for it. So that's my review of basically the cone splitter and the Kindling Cracker, but did a little bit with the axe too. So anyway, if you like this video, please click like and share it with your friends. I think the safety aspect of the Kindling Cracker makes it a good value, even though it's the most expensive of the three. But anyway, we appreciate you visiting. We'd really like it if you'd subscribe to our channel because we've got more videos coming up. And just, again, thank you for visiting and have a great day.